I've become convinced of something. What we most want from life brings us face to face with what we most fear about life. I believe that what our faith would compel us toward, our fear would tell us to shrink back. I believe that the life we're made for is right in front of us, but fear is always right behind us, saying, you can't do it. You're not enough. It won't work. I want to share with you 5 things that I fear as a man. I just want to honestly share my heart. This video is made for guys that I know and know me, guys that are part of the league in the Tulsa area, guys that I do work with in different parts of the country that I have a relationship with. And I want to share my heart with men. And here's what I fear. First of all, I fear that I am not enough for the role in my life. My role in life is to be a husband, a grandfather, a father, a friend, a leader in some regards. But I feel the responsibility and the mandate on my life that there's roles I have to play. People are counting on me. And I fear that I'm not enough for my role. I don't necessarily think that that means there's something wrong with me. I just think that's part of being a man. I would probably be concerned about someone who would say, well, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly how to get there, and I'm the man for the job. So that's the first thing I fear, is that I'm not enough for my role. And number 2, the thing that I fear is that I'll fall short in my brother's life. I believe that we have a responsibility to each other, that life is a team sport. We're not just a bunch of individuals sharing the same space and time together. I really believe with all my heart that life's a team sport. And if I know someone, I feel like I have a responsibility to, in any way that I can, help move forward the mission of their life. I really believe that my brother's life is my responsibility to whatever degree I can assist. My brother's calling is somewhat my responsibility. And as a man, I fear that I'll fall short at the role that I can have in his life. As I sit here, I think about this. Maybe this is one reason why as men, we tend to shrink back from being in close community with people. Maybe because deep down we know that if I'm connected to you, I become responsible to you. And maybe it would be easier to not be responsible to each other. I can't unsee what I've seen about life. Much of my life, I lived very distant from people. Maybe seemingly close to them, but there was like this glass wall or partition between us that I lived at arm's length. And my role with you is to posture myself or pretend in front of you so that you think that I'm a good person or a successful person. I didn't think things like I have a responsibility to my brother's life. So the second thing I fear is that I'll fall short at something that I can be in furthering the life and mission of my brother. Number 3, I fear that as men together, we will choose to shrink back. Everything that in life is worth doing is an uphill venture. Bringing light into a dark world will always come at an uncomfortable cost. Bringing light into darkness is one of the greatest things a human being can ever do with their life. And there's so many ways that we can do it. But it's awkward. You know, when someone's in a dark room and all of a sudden the light comes on, there's this, it's too much for your eyes until you adjust. I feel like bringing light to a dark world, doing real things in a fake world, always requires some awkwardness. I fear that as as groups of men, as communities of men, I fear that we'll take the easy road and shrink back to live maybe not in darkness, but in the shadows. And that we'll be close to light switches that require a community effort for us to flip. And that it's just going to be easier to get comfortable in the shadows instead of together as men, us causing movements that change people's lives. The fourth thing I fear is me doing life alone. When I'm alone, I'm just a little bit more than worthless, just a little bit more. As I look at my life and anything that I've ever accomplished, I've not accomplished things because I am talented. I'm not very talented. I've not accomplished things in life because I am successful. Anything in my life that's ever come from my life that seems to be good has been because of the people around me. I'm afraid of doing life alone. Because alone, what am I? But I know that when I got my brothers around me, I seem to be 6 inches taller and 30 pounds lighter. When my brothers are around me, it's like I fit in this world. It's as if life is like a team sport and I'm a football player. But by myself, there's nothing to do. Like, what's the point of me? But if I'm a football player and I find my team and I've got a role on that team, well, now let's go. Life is exciting. There's something for me to do that's part of this community. The fourth thing I'm afraid of is me doing life alone. The fifth thing that I fear is you doing life alone. I fear for any man doing life alone. I fear the impact on his family, on his community, on his future. I fear when I see someone I care about and I see them drawing back from being involved with people, I fear it because I know that my friends are a lot like me and I'm a lot like them. And I know that when I show up and I'm connected to my brothers, there's a strength that I gain that's not of myself. And I know that when I shrink back and I do life alone, all of my weaknesses just grow. Fear grows. Everything I don't want from life becomes more interesting to me when I'm living independently. But when I'm living in community, connected to people, faith grows, hope grows, love grows. The fifth thing I fear is that you'll do life alone. We oftentimes speak of the dangers of isolation, and we speak of it as if it's very dangerous for the isolated person. And that's true. For the isolated person, it is dangerous, of course. What we do not often talk about is that isolated person, he has left a team that needs him. It's like a football team that has 11 players to run the play, and the one guy goes off and he isolates himself. He leaves the field. And you might worry and think, oh no, he's leaving the game. He's leaving the brotherhood. He might fall into trouble. He might fall into depression. He might fall into gambling. Oftentimes what we forget is that, oh no, this entire team is short a man. It's going to hurt a whole community of people. I don't know that as men, we know the impact of just showing up. In the last season of my life, the last 3 or 4 years, if I were to look at my life and say what's held me together, it's just showing up. Just showing up. When you feel like you have nothing to offer, just show up. When you messed up the night before, just show up. When you're tired, just show up. Because if you imagine that play of 11 players on the field, Look, you don't have to do something amazing, really, on any play. It's very rare in life that anyone does anything amazing. Honestly, if you look at a play in football, everyone does a normal function. And then someone scores a touchdown. But what they did really wasn't that amazing. They were just the last part of the play. Much of life as men is not about waking up and doing something amazing. It's about waking up and showing up so that there's a chance for something amazing to happen through our life because we show up. Just show up. I'm looking at my desk here, and there's a book in the game that is about to come out this week. The reason this book is coming out is because there's just a group of men who showed up together. And they said, let's do this. And every man did his part. And now a book is going to come out that's going to ripple around the lives of men. And there's going to be men sitting around tables having conversations because a group of men decided, let's show up and do something together. So I fear you doing life alone, not just for the impact it'll have on you, but because of the impact it'll have when you don't show up for everybody else. I'm convinced that for me, if I don't step with people, I won't step at all. I want the community of men around my life to be known as a community of men that believed so much in each other that they show up together and step forward together. I want us to be known as men who have the faith to show up and let something happen. Life is not always this concocted thing that you have this long-term plan. Sometimes life is just showing up and allowing something to happen because you know each other and you believe in each other. For the rest of my life, I want to stay closely connected to other men, that together we point each other toward the life God designed for us to live. This is why we started the league, because I want men to get in spaces around other good men where three primary things can happen. Number one, have great conversations that bring clarity to our lives. Number two, I want men to be able to make connections with people that will further their life, not just professionally, but also personally. And number three, I want men to have the kind of relationships that produce organic accountability, where just showing up produces an accountability to keep living a bold life. In the league, we have 5 different meetings on the 2nd and 4th weeks of the month. There's a lot of opportunities for you to get involved with men. One of them is even online, so if you're out of the Tulsa area, you can be involved on Zoom as well. My friend, that's all I had to share. By the time you watch this video, the book and the game, this is the beta version, but probably when you're watching this video, this book is out. I encourage you to grab a copy, not because it's going to give me money, because I'm going to make $0 from any of these books being purchased. What I believe in is your life and your purpose and you knowing it and you living it out boldly. Thanks for watching.